Here's the brief update to the Reddit story of I think my husband fathered his best friend's kids. Let's just get into it. Hey guys, it's been a rough week. A lot has happened. I don't really want to talk about it all in detail, so I'm going to keep this short. I know I never shut up, it's just how I am, but I'm going to be much more brief this go around. Luke has a lawyer now. I don't know him, but he met with Zach and Paige. To everyone saying I should have Amy arrested, I probably could have if I had shown the police the video. Instead, I just sent it to my lawyer. Maybe this makes me foolish, but even now, I think a part of me is still trying to protect the people I once loved and go easy on them. But everything's been on hold for the past few days because Jim had a heart attack. I saw Luke and I saw Amy and Amy's kids at the funeral. It was the first time we were all together since before all this happened. Nobody talked about what's going on, short of Amy briefly apologizing for what happened before. She did seem sincere, I'll give her that. But I wasn't about to call her out anyways. Amy, Luke, and Kat all seemed pretty devastated. I was too, but we all agreed not to argue or talk about the divorce and to let the day be a ceasefire to focus on Jim. Luke and I had a nice conversation about him. I've been spending time with my kids and taking a couple of days off of work. I have enough of them on the back burner. Luke also saw the kids twice, before and after the funeral, with me present. It went well. At my direction and Sophie's, they didn't mention Amy, and Luke didn't try anything funny with any of them. I think he does miss them and hate that he can't see them thanks to all of this. The kids are also pretty upset about losing Grandpa, on top of not being able to see Dad as much as before. I don't think any of them blame me, but that's far from the point, frankly. Carter slept in my bed the last 3 nights. I'll get more into this in the future when I have the energy to talk about what's going on in more detail. But whoever suggested that Kat lied about the test results was correct. She never sent them in. She confessed as much to me. I guess she didn't feel comfortable going behind her son's back, but did feel comfortable lying to me to protect him? Until she felt guilty and she came clean. Under the circumstances, I am not angry with her, but I know better than to trust her anymore. As far as I know, she did not tell Luke about the test. But it means Tom could still be Luke's son. Probably is. My lawyer finished going through Luke and Amy's letters with a finer tooth comb. The bottom line is, they definitely found what it was that Amy didn't want me to see, and I now completely understand why she was so panicked. It has to do with why Amy and Luke didn't marry conventionally. They did something very bad. But this is genuinely something that I'm not sure I should be talking about, even on an anonymous internet post. I haven't been able to collect my feelings about what Amy and Luke have done, especially with everything else going on, so I don't know if I should be more explicit. I'm sorry. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, but please try to understand. Paige agreed with me that when in doubt, don't post it. I've told my lawyers to put a pin in it for now because I'm in no fit state to figure out how to proceed with it or if I should use it against them. I'm just feeling like crap, honestly. It's difficult not to blame myself for Jim. I can only imagine Luke and Amy are blaming themselves too. I know they're bad people. I don't forgive them. But this tore them apart as it did me, and I think all 3 of us feel like the divorce stressed Jim out to the point where it may have contributed. He already had heart disease. And in particular, I blame myself for showing him what I showed him. I showed him proof of the affair shortly before he died. I'll be carrying that with me for a very long time, even if I shouldn't. I'll update again whenever I do. I'm sorry. I'll respond to comments as I can. Wow, what a turn of events. I did not expect that twist about Jim passing away from a heart attack. That is quite sad. And I give my condolences to OP and even to Amy and Luke, because it's very devastating to lose a close loved one. And I can understand the OP's point of view. She probably does feel somewhat guilty and probably blames herself regarding the cause of, Jim's untimely death. That's very sad. And I think if I was in OP's position, I would probably feel the same way. But let's see what the commenters have to say in this. First person says, struggling to think of bad things a couple can do to prevent a conventional marriage. I'm wondering about that too. A follow-up post to that says, after this post, I'm guessing they are half siblings as well. Maybe mother-in-law and father-in-law knew about it too, or maybe just father-in-law knew about it. Because mother-in-law had her suspicion as well, but father-in-law was sort of in denial. Then a follow-up comment to that says, would explain why mother-in-law didn't send in DNA tests. If her son wasn't the father, they'll still show up as related, just at a lower percent. That's also true. Also explains why mother-in-law and father-in-law help Amy financially. Yeah, that's true. And then someone made this pretty good comment that says, and why Luke and Amy never intended to stop incest between the kids. And then, that's just so gross. That's all I'm gonna say. Gross. Another commenter says, this whole situation, if it is what we all suspect, is going to be so awful for all the kids. I don't know how you ever recover from this. My heart does go out to them, and very definitely to OP. A follow-up comment to that, it goes, the only silver lining in that case would be that they aren't alone, and also they aren't really involved in an incest among themselves. Well, there's that, and the fact that they're genuinely great people, and so is OP. Yeah. Another commenter says, I'm guessing the mother-in-law didn't know about it. I remember OP mentioning in an earlier post that mother-in-law had her suspicions about Luke and Amy as well, while father-in-law didn't really accept the fact that something might be going on. Mother-in-law not sending in DNA might really be what OP stated. Didn't want to do things behind her son's back. And then someone responds back to that by saying, mother-in-law definitely didn't know. Remember, she told OP she thought that when they got older, maybe they would get together, but they never did. So she just let it go when Luke got together with OP. And then someone responds to that by saying, so that would mean Luke, Amy, and father-in-law were hiding it from mother-in-law the whole time. But why? Why was this why father-in-law was so adamant that Luke and Amy wouldn't have kids together? Maybe he talked his wife into not doing the test so she'll never find out about his own infidelity. This would explain everything honestly. Why they supported her, gave her money and such. Or maybe Amy blackmailed Jim for all the support, rather than it being given out of guilt. I wonder if Jim finally told Kat the truth or not. The stress of their lies killed him most likely. Jesus, what a mess. I totally agree with all these comments. It seems like things are much more complicated, even with Jim's passing. I don't know what's happening. It's like, as we're getting answers for questions that we had previously, more questions keeps popping up. And I can't wait to hear what the OP has to give us an update on. Because I would love to know a little bit more of what's going on. And I want to Wish all the best to the OP and her family. What do you guys think about this whole story so far? Please leave it in the comments. And if you like these types of story, remember to continue to like and subscribe. And if you haven't seen the previous updates or the original stories, remember to check that out too. I'll talk to you guys later.